What's up, fellas? Welcome to a new type of video on the channel where I'm actually going to be teaching you how to make your own game. Woo woo! Crazy stuff. Found that the most viewed video on my channel is actually a tutorial I made for trading on Pokemon. So, in the spirit of making more tutorial videos for you guys, and also in the spirit of pursuing my dream of making games that can actually get noticed, I'm going to be making basically like a fake version of Pokemon. I don't know what I'm going to call it yet, but I'm going to be teaching you guys eventually how to make Pokemon. So that's what this series is going to be called. Game making tutorial, Pokemon making tutorial, whatever. So there's a lot of different ways to code games and to make games. The first way I learned ever to code was in HTML JavaScript. I don't know how it happened that way, but that's just like the basic languages I learned when I first started out. And like when you're learning JavaScript, you're kind of just text-based stuff. I made a text-based game, my first game, like OG Dungeons and Dragons, and like you're just you found the wizard in the hall, move forward, no, yes. Anyway, I'm going to be teaching you guys kind of that style of doing it today, mostly HTML and JavaScript. We'll start off with some JavaScript, and then we'll link it up to an HTML. So if you don't already have it downloaded, you're going to want to get Visual Studio Code. That's what this little logo right here is. So I have the window pulled up right now. I'm going to download it for Windows. Hopefully you guys have a Windows PC. So let's go ahead and open up the exe file. I accept the agreement, blah, blah, blah. Oh, you guys can't see this window. That's okay. So go ahead and install that and then meet me back in just a moment. Alright, that was fast. We got Visual Studio Code downloaded. There's also a Visual Studio, and I think it's like this same logo but purple. But we're going to start with Visual Studio Code for now. Visual Studio is for more like hands-on application processes, like when you're making like a whole C app or C# or whatever. Most people would make a game in like Unity or something. I've tried that out. It's fun and stuff, but what you're going to want to do is come over here and open a fresh folder. Oh, good thing you guys can't see my file explorer. Hold on one sec. Alright, so I opened up a new folder up here on my desktop called VS Code. I'm going to make a new folder in this, and I'm going to call it basic project. I don't know. I'm using camel case. Oh, project. Yep. Porygon. Basic project. Open that up and just select this folder. Yes, I trust the authors because they're me. And we're going to open up a new file by hitting this button. And we're going to name it index.html. Okay. So this is going to make a HTML. You got to call it index. If it's your first HTML page, this is going to be a basic web page. So if you don't already have this installed, go to extensions down here and search for live server. And you'll get this, and it's a launch a local development server. So servy, get in the server, trust publisher, and install. Very trustworthy. It's all good. This is going to give you the ability to basically open up your web page with live server. Do you want to allow private and public networks to access this app is what it's asking me. Yes, allow. And if we open up back our Chrome page, move this out of the way, you'll see we got our live server up here at this address. Okay. So what do we do with this? We can come over here and type in a exclamation mark, right? And then hit tab. Whoa, magic, right? We got this whole thing. What does this all mean? All right, let's start to go through this. You don't have to know too much about this for what I'm trying to show you, but this, anything within brackets is called a tag. All right, and so this is an HTML tag, doc type HTML. This line here, line 1, it just sets the document type to a normal HTML document, which will display as this web page here. Next, we have this tag, and if I sound stupid explaining this, I'm no expert. So anyway, this is another tag. It's going to close here and open here. So see how there's a slash here? This is the closing part of the tag. So everything in between here and here is the HTML, or everything that's going to show up here. All right, and if it's in this head category, it's technically not showing up visually. It's showing up more in this area. And the head is actually where we're going to want to insert our link to a style document that we'll call basic style. I don't know. This is all basic stuff, right? Oops. I don't know how to do it. .css, right? And then we actually have to make that document basic style.css. Boop, right there. And if I'm confusing you, I'm sorry about that. But everything in the head here, meta, char set, all this stuff I don't really know about. Meta, viewport. It's making this all normal and stuff. It's all built in. Title is document. We can call it something else. We can call it basic game. All right. And then we inserted this link. The body has nothing in it, right? So if we Control S this, it should automatically update our server. And the title's not showing up. It shows up somewhere else. Oh, we're also having an error. Let's take a look at this. What's our error? Server responded with a status of 404 not found. Get that to go away. Basic style is not found. Oh, faveicon.ico. Alright, ignore that. Anyway, let's get to the coding part of it. So we don't have anything on the document just yet. Let's insert a what is it called? Script source. Yes, this one. Basic script. This is camel case, where you do the lowercase and then the next word is uppercase and every word after that is uppercase. All right, so let's make this document. Oh, it's going to be a .js document. So that's a JavaScript. Let's make that basic script .js. And so everything's in this folder. Basic project is getting saved every time you hit Control S. All right, let's do something here. No, I don't want Copilot. I disable Copilot. Oh my goodness. Stupid. Hold on, I'm gonna figure out how to disable Copilot for a sec. Alright, I'm just gonna disable everything. Is that gonna work? Yes. Thank you. Now I can just type all I want. And I still get these suggestions. So that's what I like to see. Alright, anyway, we have our basic JavaScript file. Alright, so everyone's gonna teach you the same thing here. I don't know why it's failing to load, but open up your JavaScript file and just type in capital console. Wait, no, not capital. Console.log, right? Parentheses, quotes, hello world, exclamation mark. End that off with a semicolon and press Control S to run it. Ooh. So is this linked up properly? What am I doing wrong here? Did I mix up the body and the head? I don't think so. Alright, I figured out what was wrong with the icon, the fav icon thing here. Thanks to W3 Schools, shout out. But anyway, we're going to want to insert a link like this. And rel is not style sheet, but icon. And href is going to be, we'll call it like images slash, and then we're going to title it servy icon .png. Alright, and then we're going to have to add a, we're going to have to import into our actual file explorer here. Alright, sorry you guys can't see my file explorer here, but I'm going to go ahead and paste in this servy logo resize, and we'll rename it just to servy icon. And it's that same image that's in the bottom corner here. So hopefully, if we boot back up our VS Code, we'll just minimize this. And we're going to refresh this and check our website. Did it work? Did it work? Did it work? Is this actually updating live right now? I think that's the problem. So let's open it with live server again. Now it's actually called basic game. We're still getting a issue here. Images, survey icon not found. Oh, I know the issue. We didn't make a folder inside the folder called images. So this is good to organize your stuff. Oh, don't put index in there. Let's put survey icon in there so you can see it. Sure you want to move it? Yes. Now if we open back this up and refresh it, we still don't have the icon. What's going on here? But we do have hello world here, so that's working properly at least. Alright, well, as it turns out, this icon I'm trying to use is too big, so what I'm going to go ahead and do is just come on here to pixelart.com, plugging this website as a good art program, and if I knew how to use it, that is. Wait, what? I want red. There we go. And let's make this thing red, and then we'll shift the red a little bit, you know, and then we'll make a little line, whoop, and then we'll fill that in, and then we'll like make it kind of pink, just a little bit pinker, nothing crazy. And then we'll do it down here, and we made ourselves a cool little thing. Oh, let's add some texture to it. Why not? While we're at it, a little art tutorial by Servy. I don't know. This is our little ball. Okay, I'm not very good at drawing stuff. Let's download that. Okay. And we'll open this back up. Whoa, everything's displaying crazy. Like, what the heck? Are you guys seeing this? Something's wrong with my display. It's okay. Let's go ahead and grab downloads. Rename this to new icon. And go ahead and put in the basic project. And put it into images. Oh, I already did this a second ago. Alright, and then let's open up our Visual Studio. Oh my gosh, this is so disgusting to watch, but anyway. Go ahead and change survey icon here to new icon, because it's over here in the images folder. Right? We'll refresh that, and because it's a small enough image now, it's 50 by 50, as you can see. Right up here, up in the very top, we've got basic game. Oh, you guys see? There we go. There's my mouse. And we got our weird little ball as our icon. So that's cool stuff. We also saw is we've got hello world here, if you're following along. So that comes from the JavaScript. The JavaScript is linked in right here, basicscript.js. And so it comes from here. Now we can make this hello world thing say anything else. Hello fellas. Alright, and then if we save it, if the live server is live updating, boop, hello fellas shows up right over here. So, how do we actually code? Well, let's start with the variables. Just to start it off, okay. Let's make our message here a variable. So, we're not going to console log anything. It's just blank, right? So this console log is a built-in function. We'll get more into that later. But let's go ahead and make a variable. So what we put inside of this console log is a message, right? So we'll put message equals what's up, fellas. What's up, fellas? Okay, but this is the wrong format, okay? So instead of message, we have to tell the program basically what kind of variable it is. And so for JavaScript, you can be a little bit loosey-goosey. You can just say let message, and it'll be any type of variable. But for now, we're going to stay consistent and not string. Was it stir? String. Let. Hold on. Let me get this right. Oh, shows what I know. I totally forgot how JavaScript works, and you have to use let or var or const. So let's use const, which basically means this message won't change, okay? So it's a constant message, and it's what's up, fellas. So what displays here? Still nothing. Why is that? Oh, that's because we forgot to put it back in the console log. So we've declared this message. We've told the program, you know, we've made memory in the program for this message in the variable, but it's basically a shortcut to be able to refer to the message anytime we want, right? Console.log message, What's up, fellas? If we wanted to do it twice, we just add message and message together. But of course, we're going to want to add a space in between that. And this is how you add together strings. When you add strings together, they just go boop, boop. It's called concatenating. They add at the beginning of one word, adds to the end of the next word. Whereas if you add together numbers, so let's do a couple examples here. Whoop, before I lose you guys, what's up, fellas? What's up, fellas? See, that way we don't have to type it out twice. We've made use of the variable, essentially, okay? And so if we want to do const or let or var, or I think we can use int. No, not int. It's always going to be var or let or const. So we'll do another constant, const number equals, let's call it 3, right? Well, if we want to console log that number afterward, whoop, console.log number. Okay. It's going to output to our website once again. What's up, fellas? What's up, fellas? That's from this other line. And then we have 3. Okay, but as we know, if we add 3 and 3 together and save that, we get, what is it, you guys? Call it out. 6. And of course, if we make a new variable called const letter number equals 3, like this, it's no longer going to be treated as 3 because it's in quotes. It's going to be treated as the word 3, or you know. So if we take this and replace it with letter number, boop, letter number no, letter number and letter number. Load that up in the program, and you'll find here that we get 33. But it's black, and this is blue, because this is a number, and this is a word. How do we convert this back into a number, you ask? I think it's parse int. Parse int or parse float or whatever, but parse the integer of what this number is when it's been added together, and we get 33 in blue. Oh, do you guys see that? Parse int. So there's all kinds of built-in functions you're going to have to learn to make your game work. Most basically, we can make like a little text game here. So let's teach you guys how to make functions real quick, okay? So to set up a function that you can use more than once, what function are we already using more than once? Anyone want to call it out? Function, let's call it print. Is this already a built-in function? No. We'll call it show, because it's showing it, right? And then we'll call it message. And we'll say console.log message. You guys are so confused. What's going on? Okay. Let's take a look at the structure here of what we just did. First, look at this sandwich here. So this is a sandwich. From bracket to bracket is sandwiches. We could put it all in one line. It would look like this, but it's going to auto format for us. Okay? We don't want it to look like this. This looks stupid. You want to be able to tell what's inside the sandwich. Okay? Everything inside the sandwich is basically the code that's going to run for the function. So this function here, you got to start it with the word function and then the name of your function, which is show. Next, you put parentheses like this. Inside the parentheses, you put any sort of parameter. We call it, it's like a variable that your function uses, right? Parameter is going to be message that you can pass into the function. So something that can change inside the function is going to be a parameter. Now you got your console.log message. So what's going to happen here is anything I pass into show message is going to be, it's going to pass it into this message. And so it's basically a little shortcut here. If I type show hello, oh, but we have to make sure it's a string. In different coding languages, they'll make you declare the type of variable that you're passing in, like this. And you can forget your semicolons. They're like period punctuating your sentence. But if we say show hello, we get show hello, because what it's really doing is it's running the console log function every time we call the show function. Does that make sense? Okay. So we're going to keep that most basic function in here. And next, we're going to say let, because this is a variable, let health equal 10. Right? Let enemy damage equal 1. Okay? So we got some variables here, and we're using let instead of const. Okay? Enemy damage and health. Enemy damage and health. Oh, we're covering up our title. So anyway, go ahead and we'll just leave those there. Let's go ahead and write a function. We'll call this enemy attacks. Right? And we'll put parentheses and brackets like this. What happens when the enemy attacks? Your health is going to change. So we can actually change a variable like this. Health equals health minus 1. What does that mean? Oh, well, it's going to take what health was before here, and it's going to subtract 1 from it, and then it's going to assign that to health. So now if it starts at 10, it's going to go down to 1. But there's a faster way to do this. So this whole line, health equals health minus 1, health minus minus. So this is a shortcut way to do that whole line. It's going to subtract 1. If you do plus plus, it's going to add 1. It's called an operator, this little minus minus here. Alright, so we're going to health minus minus when the enemy attacks. But instead, let's make it interesting here. Let's say enemy attacks damage, right? And then we'll say health minus equals damage. So now it's going to still go down by 1 because we have enemy damage set to 1, right? So if we call this function enemy attacks, and then we're going to say enemy damage. Okay? But when enemy attacks, let's say what happened. We're going to say show the enemy attacked you. Oh no! I don't know why I'm capitalizing some words but not others. And then we're going to punctuate that line. On the next line, show your health is now plus, right? Health. So we got the space here, and then we're going to add a period. So what is this going to do? It's going to combine everything together. It's going to subtract how much damage from your health? Well, it's going to subtract whatever you put in for enemy damage here, which is 1. Right? And then it's going to show the following messages. The enemy attacked you. Your health is now, what is it? It's going to be your final health, which should go to 9, and the period. Let's run this code with Control S, move the window, and see what we got. The enemy attacked you. Your health is now 9. Perfect. It all worked out. Okay. So that's how you make a game in the most basic sense. Let's start to change some stuff around to make it more interesting. We're going to say let enemy damage 1 equal 1, and then we're going to copy that line. You can just copy the end of the line like that. We're going to add a second enemy damage, which is now 3. And let's test it out with enemy damage 1. Should be the same thing, right? Yep. He attacked you, and your health is now 9. But what if we run it again, and this time we use enemy damage 2? We come over here, and we see that your health is now at 7. Okay. Basic stuff. How about this? Let armor strength equal, armor strength, no. Armor strength, why is it a function? What's going on here? Let armor strength equal 2. Oh, there we go. It fixed itself. So if my armor strength is 2, how about this? So when an enemy attacks you and does damage to you, it's going to get reduced by your armor, okay? So how are we going to make this work? Let's say final damage equals damage minus armor strength. Okay? That makes sense? Health minus equals now final damage. So the damage is going to get reduced by your armor strength. Oops. Oops. So we'll try enemy damage number 2 now. Oops. And now you'll see that my health is at 9, okay? Well, let's try it with enemy damage number 1. Boop. And my health is now at 11. Huh? What? I got hit and I took 1 HP. Okay, well, let's deal with this situation. If the final damage becomes a negative number, which it's doing right here, we're going to want to set up a situation for if that occurs. So we're going to do an if statement, okay? The structure is if, parentheses, sandwich, just like this. What do we put inside this parentheses for an if statement? Like we did a parameter for a function. You put the condition that makes the if statement run, okay? And so the condition has to be in a Boolean structure, which is like true or false. So the way you get a true or false is by comparing two variables. So basically, we're going to compare together, let's see, final damage. And we're going to make sure it's less than 0, because that means it's negative. And if so, then we're just going to make it 0, because we don't want to be gaining HP from that. And we fix it. Now our health is at 10, because our damage threshold, or our armor strength, is more than the enemy damage of 1. So as you can see, we just built ourselves a little game in the console here. All kinds of endless possibilities to come. Let's see, what else can we do? Let's give you guys a little sneak preview of HTML. So normally on HTML, you'd want to type your little boxes here. So we'll make a div, right? And then we'll say, hello guys, right? And then this is actually going to show up on the website up there in the corner. Now we can make text show up, but we can also make boxes and stuff show up. So I like to make the boxes in JavaScript itself. So let's go ahead and delete all this stuff. I know it's so cool, but we'll keep the show because that's a useful function. We're going to go ahead and make a new function. We're going to call it boxer. Okay? And let's just leave this alone for now. First, we have to kind of capture what we're looking at. So save this and save this. Hello, guys, go away. All right, so we're going to say, let's put show down here. Let's do this at the very top. Let body equal document dot body. So document is going to refer to this, the index.html, or this, and the body is just kind of the whole thing, right? You can look at body right here. So there's a way that you can kind of translate, so to speak, between HTML and JavaScript. It's called the document object matrix, or the DOM. I would look up separate videos because I'm not going to be able to explain it very well, but I just know from experience here that you can say something like this: let container equal document.createElement, and we're going to make it a div. Okay? And then we're going to say body.append child container. So what are we doing here? Let's take a look. First, we're going to make the container just kind of in cyberspace, so to speak. Okay, the container is just floating out here. It's not attached to the document really yet. So if we kind of comment out this line and just run this, and we take a look at our elements here, we have our body on our script and everything, but we don't see a container anywhere. Okay, so once we append the child, boop, like that, now we can see on here, open up the body, we've got this div here. Okay, well, you can't see it, but let's actually say container.id equals, we're going to give it a little name tag, container. That way we can refer to it later and we can actually see what's going on here. It's actually showing up as the container. Alright, so let's set some dimensions for the container. Container dot position. Oh, actually, this is all done in the style sub element for whatever reason. So let's say let const_i equal container.style, just so we don't have to type all this out, right? I'm forgetting to punctuate some of these lines. Boop, don't let me forget. Const_i dot position equals absolute. So when you set these properties, like position property is absolute, you're gonna set the property here just dot position, but when you set the value of it, it's gonna be in quotes, because that's the way that HTML interprets it on here. So let's save that off, and it's not gonna do anything, you can't see anything yet. But if we say const_i dot height equals, let's call it 300 pixels, right? Sounds good. Const_i dot width equals 200 pixels. Kind of random, but in a sec you'll be able to see if we put a background color on it. Background color is going to be green or whatever, right? So now you start to see our container here, and if we actually highlight over the container, it highlights this green box for us. So we see what's going on, right? Now if we want this container box to shift downward, we're gonna say const_i dot top. This is the offset from the top of the box to the top of the page, or the parent element, which in this case is the body. Advanced stuff, I know, but we're gonna send it 200 pixels downward, and there it goes. So what do we want to do here? Let's set an interval when the program first runs. And no, it's not boxer. Wait, oh, I was selecting boxer. We're not going to do boxer just yet. Boxer is like a short. Boxer we'll use as a shortcut for all this stuff. Okay, so let's keep our container. Let's make it a little bit bigger and wider and not so green. Make it light green. Nope, that's not a valid color, but that is okay. So let's go 800 pixels. So this is all technically in. Oh wait, that's too big. 600. This is all technically in style sheets, right? But I'm doing it in JavaScript so that it can apply to HTML. What's going on? I don't know. But anyway, follow along as we make our container a lot bigger, and that's fine. So this is now our kind of screen that we're looking at. Okay, so we don't need to look at the console so much anymore. We're doing visual stuff now, and so what we're gonna do for Boxer here is we're going to make an object like this inside the container. Alright, so pretty easy to just copy all this. Boop. And we're going to basically variableify all this stuff. So let container no, let object equal document.createElement div is correct. We're going to move object.id equals, well, it's going to be kind of a variable. So call it name, and we'll throw that into here. And so let we'll just say sty equal object.style. Oops, I hit the wrong button there. I don't know what's going on. Sty.position equals absolute. Sty.height equals, well, we'll call it height, and then we'll call it +%. That way we'll set the percent of the height based on the parent element again. So we need a height variable. Oops, don't know how to spell. We'll need a width variable. We'll need a top and a left. Oops. And we'll need a color. Alright, so again, let's just fix all this. You can see my coding skills coming into being. This is object. Oops. Not really anything crazy. Background color is going to be variable color. All these are going to be width plus percent. Oops. And top plus percent. And the percent is in quotes because when combined with the number, it'll kind of be in this format of 600%, you know. But instead of pixels, percent. And then we'll go left, percent. Okay, so all these are variable now. And instead of appending it to the body, we'll append it to the parent. But how do we actually get the parent? Well, we're going to have to do document dot get element by ID parent ID. Right? And then we'll go parent ID as the very first variable in here. Does that make sense? So let's test out our new function to make a box in the container. We're just going to run it once, boxer. Just like that, but we're going to have to feed it some variables here. So first is parent ID. That's going to be, what did we call it up here? Container. Just stick it in there. Name, box1. Oops, box 12, no. Height, let's call it 10% of the container, 10% for the width. Top's going to be 90, so it's at the bottom. And left's going to be 10, so it's only slightly off to the side. The color will be blue. And we made our box, and there it is. It showed up just like we wanted. Oh, you guys can't see my face, my beautiful face. All right, so sorry about this display being all kinds of everywhere. But now we have a box in our box. Okay, so let's set an interval, basically. Oops. So there's a shortcut if you type the lowercase interval like that. Every 100 milliseconds, so 10 times per second, we're going to move this blue box upwards. So we're going to say, see this document.getElementById function? I don't really like it, so I'm going to do the same thing I did here with the show function, but I'm going to go find, so I can find stuff easier, right? And then we're going to say find ID, and just ID like this. And then we can replace this with find parent ID, just to make things a little easier. So let's go find box1. So this interval is going to run every 100 milliseconds after this runs and the box is created. Find box1 dot style dot top equals. Here's the problem, right? We know that the original top here is 90, but it's being stored as quotes 90%, so we can't do a lot of math operations on that. We could parse it out. We could try to basically remove the percent sign from the character, just look at the number and parse it into a number and then subtract one and then reparse it or whatever. I'd rather just separately store its height. So all I have to do is before I make the box, say let box height equals 0, basically. And so every time the interval runs, we're going to say box height plus plus, and then the style.top is going to be 90 minus box height plus percent. Okay, seems like a good way to do it. Did it run too fast? Cannot read properties of undefined boxer. Find box1. Oh, here's the problem is when I made this find function, I need to return the document so that when this is read, it actually pastes it in here. So when we do show, we're actually just doing something. We're console logging, and the action is already done. But when we're finding, we have to return this to do something else with it outside of the function. So that's why we're returning. And as you can see now, we did it. We got our box to move up a little bit every second. Eventually it's going to hit the top, and it's going to keep going. So let's fix that by basically coming in here. If box height is greater than 90, box height equals 90. We'll fix it up. And here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. Boop. And it stops at the top. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed this basic stupid tutorial on JavaScript and HTML. It was a lot of fun for me. My main goal here is to make my own Pokemon game, so I'm going to teach you guys all these different little tricks and strategies to make your logic work better, and yeah, make boxes, and we can add images to boxes so that we can actually have stuff going on, like you know, just like we have this image up here. So we'll show you guys how to do that next time, among other things. But I hope you guys enjoyed this first episode of game making tutorial. Sorry if it was a lot visually and mentally, but yeah, this is my dream, and I hope it's a lot of you guys' dreams to make your own games. So this is how I would do it. Yeah, leave a like if you enjoyed, leave a comment if you're confused, which I'm sure most of you guys are, and subscribe to the channel for more, and have a good day.